Um, I used to do bingo every Sunday night and every other Thursday at Hamburger Mary's. I also did every Friday night at Sidetrack.
Kind of all over the place. I mean, I'd say my average was at least 2 to 3 gigs a week. Some weeks where I would have up to 6. And other weeks maybe I'd have 1 for the week, but I'd say as an average, like 2 to 3 on top of work.
So before Corona came for my gig, I worked at Sidetrack. I was their resident queen. So anytime they needed someone to yell at a drunk white lady from the suburbs, I would do that.
I was lucky that drag wasn't my full-time job and that I just happened to keep building a drag career on top of doing freelance work as an interpreter. And I think there will be eventually a time where I can go back to interpreting because they're always going to need it.
I think like a lot of like full-time drag queens who aren't on a certain TV show, I live very much like paycheck to paycheck. But thanks to Patreon, I was able to at least pay my rent with it monthly. So once Corona hit, we did have kind of a spike in people signing up for Patreon, I think like out of support. So I knew at the very least I'd be able to pay my rent.
Like for the queens who were just doing drag at home, making content online, only doing visuals in terms of photos, and they weren't really going out and doing live gigs, or maybe they couldn't get booked that way, I think it's definitely been good for them, right? Because it's the same stuff they've always been doing. I wasn't really making a lot of online content, and I was definitely like a live in-person queen. So I definitely have taken a hit.
It wasn't until the next day when it was officially like everything shut down and the mayor was pissed that I was really like, oh wait, maybe this is like super real. I just didn't, I guess I just hoped for the best and maybe put blinders on.
I don't know. I feel like when it started, it was like, okay, yeah, the same girls are getting asked to do, drag matinee, but now we're 6 weeks in, 7 weeks in, there's been new opportunities and new shows and new ways to work. And so I feel like the culture is really adapting pretty well.
Well, for performing, it's definitely changed because I personally don't want to watch a drag queen dance in her living room. I wanted to make a performance that you couldn't get live, but something that matches more of what you see on YouTube, what you see in internet content.
The pre-recorded was a struggle at first, but then after I did it and I sent it off, and that was nice because then I was like, oh, I'm done. I don't have to do anything. And it was like the day before. So that has been nice. That's proven to be fun, but I don't, but still I'm only working with what I'm not working with a lot. So
I think people feel awkward tipping $1, so they're going to tip like $5 online. Because it feels like to hand someone $1 at a bar seems more natural, more normal, especially when they can see other people giving dollars. But when they can't see how much other people are tipping, maybe that makes them feel like they have to tip a little bit more.
We'd have a few tips here and there every video we got. And then when the coronavirus thing happened, people really started tipping like a lot. And like some people just like a few dollars here and there, which is super duper nice. And then some people would give like $50, $100 just for watching a video, which was really exciting. I will say now that we're in week, 57 of the shutdown, the novelty of it all, I think, is wearing off on people. Like I've noticed that all of the digital drag shows, they're getting less viewers, less tips. That first week, all I had to do was just tweet out my Venmo and it'd be like, here's some money. Because people were just so like, I want to help. And now that the novelty's kind of worn off, I think people are not paying as much attention to us. My fear is that once they start to reopen everything, obviously bars will probably be one of the last things that opens because that's not essential. You can drink at home, believe me, I've done it. But I'm worried that there won't be as many shows. If we may reopen in September or whenever, and then we won't really start doing shows again for a while. I mean, we're not essential, I get that, but I'm just worried that we're going to be some of the last people back at work.
I don't know what I would say it's been harder. I mean, drag is kind of like Jurassic Park. Like, drag finds a way. You know what I mean? That's really funny. You have to write that in.
That's my quote right there.
I just made that up.